Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to set up PiHole on your Raspberry Pi. PiHole allows you to block all the ads on your local network. Before we head over to the computer, here's a word from our sponsor. Everybit Electronics is a UK-based hobbyist electronics shop, providing you components for reasonable prices. Use promo code Ryan for 10% off your first purchase. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is connect to our Raspberry Pi. I'm going to connect through SSH, which I set up in the first episode of this series. So now that I'm on the Pi, I need to run the installation script. This is hosted on the PiHole website and we can just pass it into Bash. So let's wait for this installation script to run and then it will ask for some user prompts. As you can see, it's already detected the PHP installation from our web server installation that we did in episode 3 of this series. Okay, so we've got the first prompt. This is just letting you know that the installation has taken place and it's going to turn your Raspberry Pi into an ad blocker for your network. And now this is just a link to the PiHole website where you can donate. Okay, so it's telling us we need to set up a static IP address for our Raspberry Pi. This means that the IP address won't change, so if anything's pointing to it, it will stay the same and always stay connected. Okay, now we need to choose whether we're going to connect through Ethernet or wirelessly. Mine's connected via wire, so that's Ethernet. But if we want to change, we can use the up and down arrow keys and space to select our options. And now we can click tab to get onto this bottom row and left and right for OK and cancel. And now enter to select OK. Okay, it's asking us to select our upstream DNS provider. Leave this to Google unless you want some extra features and you know what you're doing with the other ones. So just click enter to move to the next section. And now this is a list of everything that we can choose to block. So malware DOM is malware domain names. We can use spacebar to choose which ones we want. I'm just going to leave all of them. So this will block tracking, cookies, ads, and malware. Click enter to proceed. Now leave this the same. We want to block over IPv4 and v6. Okay, now it's asking us, do we want to set up the static IP address with the current settings? And for me, that's fine. If you have any preferences, you can click no and go through and change that. But for me, that's fine. Just make sure to write that down before we proceed. Okay, now this is just a warning saying that our router might try to assign the static IP address we have to another device. This is usually only an issue with older routers, but if you want to be sure, then you can go into your router settings and make sure that this IP address stays static. And now, do you want to install the web admin interface? This is a web page that will be able to change settings easier rather than command line. We definitely want to do that. Now it's asking us, do we want to install the web client that they recommend? We've already installed one in a previous episode of this series. So we're going to say no, and we're going to use our own installation. Now it's asking us, do we want to log queries? Then yes, we do want to do that. Now it's asking us what privacy level we want on the admin page. If we're the only ones with access to the admin page, then we can select show everything, but you can disable statistics if other people have access to that page as well. Now let's just let it clone the software it needs from GitHub and complete the installation. Okay, that's it. The installation is complete. Just a few things to note down. Write down your IP address if you didn't do it previously. Write down the login password at the bottom here. You're going to need that. We'll change that to something if you're choosing in a second. Also, the web interface is found at your IP address /admin or pi.hole/admin. And the logs are at etc/PiHole on your Raspberry Pi. Okay, click OK and we're all done. Okay, so just one more command to do just to change our admin password, PiHole-a-p, and we're going to enter our new password. This can be anything, doesn't need to be the same password as your Pi user for your Pi. Okay, to make sure that the installation worked, we're going to go to a web browser and go to the IP address of our Raspberry Pi /admin. And now this page should be displayed. We can see the total queries that have happened on our Pi, the amount of domains that are on our block list, and the amount that have been blocked so far. None have because we haven't connected any devices to the Pi yet. So let's click login just to make sure our new password works as well. Now once you're logged in as admin, you'll see this page and you've got a lot more pages that you can go to on the left hand side. Now this is working, we can either connect each individual device on our network to the PiHole, or we can connect our router directly to it. I'm going to show you how to do both. So let's start with how to do it on Windows. So we're going to start with Windows. Before I point it to the Raspberry Pi, we're just going to connect to a website without the Raspberry Pi DNS server. So if we just go to speedtest.net, we can see that this page loads up with a few banner ads around the side. And now let's connect to the Raspberry Pi and then reconnect to the site and see if they disappear. So to connect on Windows, we go to Control Panel. We then go to Network and Internet Settings, Network and Sharing Center. And then on the left-hand side here, we change adapter settings. Now here you should only see either Ethernet or Wi-Fi adapter. Right-click on it and click Properties. And now you should see the Internet Protocol version 4. Click on that and then click Properties. And here we can either do an automatic DNS server or choose a specific one. I'm going to choose the specific one and put in the IP address of my Raspberry Pi. Okay, now that that's connected, we can click OK and close this and close down Control Panel. Now this should all be set up. Let's just go to Chrome to make sure. So let's go back to the speed test site and refresh the site. And as you see, it refreshes without ads. Okay, so that's how you set it up on Windows, but now I'm going to show you how you can set it up on your router. So this will take effect on all devices on your network, whether it's mobile devices or PCs and laptops, even smart TVs. So we're going to go to our web browser and type in the IP address of our router this time, not our Raspberry Pi. And now each router's admin portal will be slightly different. I'm going to put in the username and password of my router, which is on the back of the router. For each admin portal, it's going to be slightly different. So for me, it's this DNS IP address option. I'm going to change that to manual and type in the IP address of my Raspberry Pi. And now I'm going to remove the secondary DNS option. This is because if we do have a secondary DNS option, all the requests for ads and malware that get blocked by a Raspberry Pi are just going to get passed through to the secondary option and then will get resolved anyway. Be cautious not having a secondary DNS option, because if your Raspberry Pi does go offline, no outbound internet access will work. Now I'm going to click Save Settings, and that's it. We've got PiHole set up on our local network, and all devices on the network are now blocking ads. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and use this promo code to get 10% off your first order from Every Bit Electronics.